When people hear the word Hinds Hospice, they often think of the care we provide to patients and their families at the end of life. Yet our services extend far beyond hospice care. Our most recently established program is the Healing After a Loss by Overdose, or HALO program. The HALO program is specifically designed for friends and families facing the trauma of losing a loved one in this sudden and devastating way. Zach's parents, Jim and Lynn Horton, have been instrumental in launching HALO as supporters and co-facilitators in our HALO Grief Support Group.
Yeah, Zach was our only child. We had him kind of late in life, and I think he did have an ideal childhood. Zach was funny. He was really bright. He was handsome, hardworking, really compassionate, caring kid. He'd do anything for anybody.
He had such a generous spirit. I had the ability to move into the stay-at-home dad role. Zach was 6 or 7, so I got to be involved as a coach with all of his sports, be his Cub Scout leader, for years, be his martial arts instructor, and that was truly just the highlight of for me of him growing. It didn't feel like a job. It was certainly just fun. The inevitable pain of his loss is slightly more tolerable, realizing all those years that we had together.
I think he was at the age of about 8, he was diagnosed with ADD, the ADD that's just an issue with attention. And there's oftentimes a co-occurring disorder that goes with that, and Zach's was depression. Kind of looking back now, realizing that it was probably more significant than we realized, especially as he got older. And as you know, with teenagers, their life becomes more complicated. The interesting thing with Zach was when we found out about his addiction, when it became really clear, there had been signs, there had been things that we saw, but we always sort of, as Jim said, we just kind of explained them away. But he was getting straight A's, and he was holding down a part-time job, was very reliable and dependable. So when we would talk to people, they'd say, well, those are all, typically if there's a problem, you're seeing issues with grades falling and that kind of thing. Instead, with Zach's grades got better. He finally decided in his junior year that his grades were important. So we didn't really see how serious it potentially was.
Yeah, so there were 2 different situations. One happened the summer before his senior year, and he came to me and said, Dad, I can't remember anything. He says, no, Dad, I've been taking some Xanax over the summer, and I did some study. I heard that memory loss is one of the, he'd been taking much more than that, but that's part. He was full-on experiencing an opiate addiction and then withdrawals. He ended up doing a detox that was just cold turkey because we didn't know how bad it was a horrendous weekend for us, but we knew there was an issue now. So, but again, he went back to getting great grades and working all the time, and all that was going well. And then the last thing that happened, he had a breakup with a girlfriend, and again, things happening out of control in the second semester, and he passed out at school. And it was at that point, that was in March of 2019, so we took him to a local rehab.
The gentleman that did the eval said, you spent like 20 minutes with Zach. I thought Zach probably wouldn't even tell him because Zach didn't want to go, of course. And he said, your son's addicted to a drug called Opana. And I'm like, what's Opana? I'd never even heard of it. And it's probably, twice as lethal as OxyContin. We forced the issue, and he did go into treatment. So he spent the last month or 2 of school either in treatment or living in a sober living home and doing outpatient treatment. That was kind of post, and he did stay in recovery till the summer. The other thing I think with opioid addiction, and probably really any addiction, but opioid in particular, there's really this potential for continual relapses.
received a call on the phone from the mother of Zach's friend. So I was a little confused, but I could tell she was distraught, and she was asking me to come over to the house, and that the police were there or someone was there, and they needed me to come over. And then, gosh, your mind just starts to spin, and my critical thinking skills kick in, and all of a sudden I realize what she's saying, and I realize where it's at. And it's God, just a moment of acute terror.
Somebody told us, I can't think who it was, about Hinds. And so we contacted Kathy Cromwell, and she invited us to come meet with her. And I mean, we were probably there, within a week or two of Zach's passing. You know, there's a usually bigger time, but it's like we knew what we needed and what we wanted. And so we joined a group.
Everyone else in our lives outside of the group, they just want you to be normal. Mm-hmm. They want you, let's just get back to normal. We will never be normal again.
Yeah.
And the only people that understand that and realize that are the people that are in the group with us. And see, we don't want them to be normal. We want them, for us, I believe it's about finding what we call the new norm, mm-hmm. right? And it's how do I function from here on out? And it's going to be, I'm telling you, it's different this year than it was last year, which is so different than it was the year before and the year before. So it's just ongoing a process. But having a group of people that understand that, and that's not anyone else that was part of our lives before. Mm-hmm. They just want us to be the old Lynn and Jim, mm-hmm. and we're never going to be. The ability to receive support for the Center of Grief and Healing and for the HALO program specifically, I think is seen in the lives that we've seen touched, mm-hmm. In the many groups that we've been a part of. So many individuals suffer. We were fortunate somehow. Someone referred us to Hinds, and I would say second only to forming our foundation, the grief groups that we participated in have been the most therapeutic part of our recovery.